So everybody can go to UK and they don't face any major challenges in terms of visa. ISMS is always with them till the time they start the journey here and till the time they complete the journey there. So in between, all the processes are taken care by us, and we assist them in every step, right from selection of universities to selection of program to visa filing, getting the admission letter there, accommodation, even the alumni network which we have, which is very high numbers now in UK, helps them in terms of getting a part-time job, which is allowed there in UK for students, that they can work 20 hours in a week so that they can earn and manage their living expenses while they are studying. So that part is also taken care by most of our alumni. The students have a lot of advantages when they go through this program.
Hello, Vipul. This is Dheeraj Mishra here from Guide Me Education Services. Today we have with us Mr. Devraj Banerjee, Director, ISMS Pune. ISMS Pune is a well-known brand in Pune market, primarily well-known for foreign MBA program. Hello, Devraj sir.
Hello, Dheeraj. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you so much for asking. Sir, as soon as I remember the name of ISMS, हर बार यही recall होता है कि it's a college which offers affordable foreign education to the students. Can you tell me a bit about your initial journey with ISMS?
Right. So we started in 2010. Before 2010, we were working with a lot of universities in UK. The basic intention forming ISMS was to provide international programs in a very affordable fee structure. Now, in 2010, the scenario was very different as what it is today. Now, a lot of students were moving to UK, but they were not getting into MBA program because of certain rules which was existing that time. So we thought that we will get a program here in India wherein the students will complete that program in India and then they will move to UK for some part of the program. So that's how it became twinning program. So ISMS started with international program, which we call it as international MBA. Why international MBA? Because the intention is sending the students to UK for their studies and allowing them time to settle there. So the degree which they get is from UK universities. So we call it as international MBA. Now it happens in two steps. First step, which is conducted here, and second step when they go to UK. So the entire idea of ISMS was based on this program, and so far we have been we are into our 10th year, and we have been pretty successful in terms of sending students to UK, and a lot of success stories we have, and a lot of students who have completed their came back to India working here, doing very well. So it has been really a successful journey for us.
I mean, normally, if somebody wants to do it from outside, normally they end up spending 30-40 lakhs. But in case of ISMS, the total cost becomes less.
That is primarily because we conduct most part of the academic program here in India. In UK, they have a rule. Universities basically charge on module-wise fees. Now, students know that the total fees of the program, but actually it is module-wise, which is charged to the students. Now, when we conduct the most part of the program, majority of the program here in India, so they pay here in India in Indian rupees, and for a smaller part, they go to UK and they pay that in pounds. So that affordability factor comes in. So the first part, when they study first year, they get certain credits which are given to the universities, and those credits are exempted from the main program, and they have to do a certain credits there in UK. So that makes their program cheaper as compared to going directly to UK.
In India, normally MBA takes 2 years. Is it also the same scenario out there as well?
In UK, the traditional program has been for 1 year, always has been for 1 year. But last 5 years, what we are seeing is a lot of changes in terms of universities. Now, the functioning of UK universities are very different from Indian universities, because in India, universities have to follow certain rules and regulations which are given by UGC. But in UK, although all the universities are public funded universities and regulated by government, but they have a lot of autonomy to decide on the structure of the program and duration of the program. So traditionally, MBA when it started in UK, uh, they did all the post graduation program for 1 year, but later on, a lot of universities started giving it for 15 months, 18 months, or even for 24 months. So how did they manage that? So they added a lot of other skill development things, and also some internship part into the program. So right now we have a lot of options. A student can go for a 1 year program, student can go for an 18 months program, and students can also go for 24 months program, which will include 1 year of work internship in UK. So the basic intention of giving work internship in UK is to increase the duration of stay in UK, so that students can get enough time to study and work there. Because when a student goes to UK, the first thing is study, and also he's very interested in terms of working there, because it's a very attractive market in terms of working, also in terms of money as well, because the earning is very high, the saving is very high. So the students need a lot of time where they can spend there, and so that they can earn more and get that valuable international experience before coming into India, or if they decide to settle there. So there are different durations of program there.
Do you basically recruit some people who is having a specific skill set?
The one thing which we really look forward is that student should have English background, because ultimately he will be going to a country where English will be the language which will be used. Apart from that, the major students who come into this program, there are two different sets of students who come into this program. One is who have already looked into foreign education, and probably not been able to get into that sort of education because of higher fee structure, or because of the fear of going to an unknown place and surviving there. So this programs makes them it very easy for them to actually handle both the situations. The second set of crowd who have as you told, that most of the B schools have fee structure between 10 to 15 lakhs. So a lot of students, when they find out that within that budget, they can actually go to a foreign country like UK, which has been traditionally a very attractive market for management students, and study there in that budget. So they also become very interested, and they also join the program. We also get a lot of engineering students, because they feel that their skills can be actually utilized when they go there, because the type of education methodology that they get there, it's very different from what we have here in India. So this type, basically we can divide into 2-3 different categories of student who come to us for this program. Now the skill set which is required is basically English is one of the major things which we look forward for. And second, the student, how independent they are, and how well they can adjust to the situations. Obviously there is a lot of training which happens here before they go, but then the judgment of that thing has to be there. So we try to check before taking those students.
It's a 2 years program. 1 year they spend in ISMS,
Right.
and the second year they spend in the university.
Right.
So what is the program do they cover in that 1 year span at ISMS?
So it's basically, you can relate it with one of the programs which is existing in India. It's a combination of a professional program and an academic degree. In India, we have only one exemption, because India we have a single tier education system, wherein UK follows a 2-tier education system. So sometimes it is a bit difficult for us to understand, because we don't know that system. In India, we have one exemption, which is basically a combination of professional program and academic program, which you can relate it with a student doing polytechnic and then getting into engineering with first year exemption. So we see that polytechnic, when a student gets into polytechnic, he acquires a lot of practical skills. He actually works on machines, and then because he needs a degree for entry into major companies, he gets into engineering and completes his engineering. So the process may be of duration which is higher than normal engineering students, but the experience and actual work which a diploma plus engineering student does is much more than what engineering student does. So he has both the things. So you can compare this program to that program, where in first year they have acquired all the professional skills along with the subject knowledge, and then they move into academic part, wherein they complete their degree there.
So do they cover anything specific out here in India, or there is it's a certification program, or they are covering a part of the program in India? I mean, If you can just elaborate a bit.
It's a certification program. In UK, there are different levels of professional program. So the level which we do here in India is level 7, which is post-graduation level. So the program name is Extended Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership, which is basically a 120 plus credits program. For MBA, they need to score 180 credits. Out of that, 120 we already cover here. Now this program is given, the certification is given by Pearson, which is world's largest body for education, both academic and professional education, and which is again regulated by government of UK. So this program is accepted by most of the universities for entry into their MBA program. So Pearson has a certain set of subjects which they give us, and we also have some choice subjects based on the type of crowd we are handling. So the combination of the subjects we have are such that they cater to the general management need. So they have since most of the students are fresher, so they have exposure in every field of management, and these are all strategic management subjects. So we have 10 subjects here, and then when they progress there, these subjects, most part of the subjects are exempted from the MBA program, and they have certain modules to be completed there. After that, which they get the degree.
Does the student face any like regulatory problems when they travel to Europe? Is it like anybody who is getting a chance into the international MBA program at ISMS, which you are saying, does all of them gets a chance to be the part of European country? Because normally, if I see in the nutshell, the expense is pretty lesser in case of ISMS, whatever the kind of education you are giving to the students is quite lesser. So does this ensure that anybody who is aspiring for this program will certainly get a visa of UK, and then he continues like a student who aspires to be an MBA from UK?
See, this is the most genuine way of getting visa, because this is a natural progression program. What UKBA, the United Kingdom Border Agency, which issues the visa or regulates the visa, what they want to see is a genuine student coming into their country for studying. For our student, it is like progression program. That part of the program I have completed in India, and now I'm moving here for rest part of the program where I will get my degree. So that becomes a natural progression. So in this case, students generally don't face any visa issues. There are certain other things also related to visa, like their finances, how they show their finances, how they manage their fees, and also completion of the first year certification. So everybody can go to UK and they don't face any major challenges in terms of visa. Although we guide them into through all the process, and ISMS is always with them till the time they start the journey here, and till the time they complete the journey there. So in between, all the processes are taken care by us, and we assist them in every step, right from selection of universities to selection of program to visa filing, getting the admission letter there, accommodation, even the alumni network which we have, which is very high numbers now in UK, helps them in terms of getting a part-time job, which is allowed there in UK for students, that they can work 20 hours in a week so that they can earn and manage their living expenses while they are studying. So that part is also taken care by most of our alumni. The students have a lot of advantages when they go through this program.
There are a lot of people in India who do not have good communication skill in English. I mean, they are not very good in English because they have studied in the regional language, primarily in Hindi medium or any local like Bengali or Odia or something of that sort. Do you think those students can also aspire for this program?
Absolutely.
How will they cope up?
Absolutely. I think a student's attitude is most important thing when it comes into this program. I have seen a lot of students coming from Hindi medium background and going through this program very easily. It was because they will have to work hard as compared to other students in terms of English. I'm not talking about subject. They may have very good subject knowledge, or they may be academically very good. There is no doubt about that. But in terms of English, they need to work hard. But again, that's again the place where ISMS comes into picture. We have a full-fledged training methodology set for this type of students who come into this program, right from development of basic English till clearing of the IELTS exam, which is required for their entry into universities. Students from English medium background who have particularly done their higher secondary from CBSE or ISC generally get exemptions from IELTS, but for state board students, they need to appear for IELTS. So we help them in every step. In fact, we have an extended IELTS training sessions conducted here in our campus, and we have uh, very highly qualified trainers for that. So even students coming into from regional languages or other boards can easily adapt to the this course, provided that they are ready to work hard.
You have mentioned that that it is affordable for everybody. What is the normal expense people need to have? I mean, how much should they be ready with as far as financial part is concerned?
I guess a student should have a budget of at least 15 lakhs for both the years. And it is very easy for them to manage because the expense is not at the same time. You don't have to spend 15 lakhs at a go. So like first year we have a fee structure. Then again, when they start applying to the UK universities and get their admission confirmed, then they have to pay certain fees, and then they can take some gap and pay some fees. So, it can be flexible. But we think that a student should have at least 14 to 15 lakhs budget to comfortably manage this program. And talking about batch size, last 2-3 years we have slightly increased the intake. We don't want to compromise on the quality as well. But right now, what we are taking is intake of 60, a batch of 60. And because this program requires a lot of one-to-one interaction with faculties, a lot of working individually with the students. So we cannot take the batch size higher to 120 or 180 as we do it generally in other programs. Because the training methodology is different. The entire assessment criteria are different. The assessment criteria is based on assignments and case studies, which are very practical. Lot of research work to be done by students. And as the students gets into research work, there is a lot of checking has to be done by the faculties as well. So these are very lengthy processes. So right now we are freezing with a batch of 60, and obviously quality wise we check students that how well they are. Obviously, academics performance in academics is not the only criteria we are concerned about. What we are concerned about is how much students are interested in terms of studying abroad, and also the attitude of the student, how how well he wants to do in future, what are his goals, what are his plans for future. So a lot of things we check before taking students into this program.
In case somebody is doing MBA from India, they, if they're spending some 15 lakhs or 16 lakhs, they normally end up getting an education loan of 90% from the different banks where the college has got a tie-up. Right. In case of ISMS, if somebody do not have that pocket of 15 lakhs, how will he manage the funding process of this?
Dhirajit, see, most of the students opt for bank loans when they go to UK. So what we suggest them, since this program is divided into two parts, so we generally suggest them that you don't take a loan for the first part, which you can pay is in installments, and which is not a high amount. And for second year, once they get the admission letter from the university, confirmation letter, they can apply for bank loans, which is generally in the range of 7 to 8 lakhs, 9 lakhs. So it becomes much easier for students to actually get that loan. ISMS, although we have been in with a lot of banks, but then these programs are approved by most of the nationalized banks. These universities are listed everywhere. So a student can easily get loan from any banks which is nearby. So we generally tell the students that wherever they have their accounts nearby their home, so they can first try loans from there, or else we can also assist them in terms of getting the loans.
Okay. Understanding the second year journey of a student who is going UK, I mean, as soon as he'll reach to his university, will he be getting the chance to work from the day one, I mean, within a week or so, or how does the program move? I mean, do they study for 6 months and then they start working, or how much is the total duration they need to cover as far as education is concerned? How does this journey goes for a student who visit the campus there in UK?
A student has to get national insurance number done before he starts working there, which generally is a month's process. But we generally ask students to at least wait for 2 months before start working, because most of them get confirmed jobs before that only. But the thing is, when they get into UK, So they have some formalities to be completed with the universities. They go to universities, then they have induction program there in the universities, wherein universities will take them for city, sightseeing, also introduce to them to the various departments they have, the various facilities they have, what all facilities they can use, and then the subjects and the faculties where whom with they will have to interact with. So this process takes some time. So what we suggest students is generally you get adjusted to the system, education system first, understand everything, and these universities will generally have 3 to 4 days classes in a week. So students have enough time to work there. Student can start finding out job from day one itself, but they have a process of getting a national insurance number. So which is again they need to fill online form and submit the documents and all. So once they get the insurance number, then they can start working. So you can say that it can be in the range of 45 to 60 days.
If you can briefly elaborate the placement scenarios in India, normally we have got a placement cell in the college who takes care of the placement part. Is it the same out there in other countries as well, where you send your students?
Absolutely, they have brilliant placement cell, and not only placement cell, they have various activities linked to placement cell. So they have entrepreneurship labs. They have student unions. Now, when we talk about student union in India, it's like a very different thing. But in UK, if you see, every university will have a student union building, a separate building which will have all the facilities. They have discussion forums. They have entrepreneurs coming and giving lectures. They have their own libraries. They have coffee shops. So students have a lot of opportunity. Now student has to work very closely with the placement cell. The placement cells are very dedicated. They conduct a lot of activities. Also, there is a concept which is known as job fair in UK. So most of the universities conduct job fairs. Now, what is job fair is basically calling multiple companies at the same time to the campus and giving students opportunities to interact with all of them and find out what type of opportunities are available with those employers and apply to those employers. So students can meet around 30-40 companies at the same time, check what type of profile they have which is suitable for them, and apply accordingly. Now these activities are conducted on general basis and also on particular department basis. Like management school has a different job fair, but there are common job fairs also where different companies come. So they have a very dedicated placement cell. Scenario till now has been the jobs were available, but Indian students are not allowed to stay back for a long time because of the visa issue. But right now, the facility which students have got is the coming of post-study work permit. The work internship gave them some additional time, but with post-study work permit coming into picture, it has become much easier for Indians now to stay there for longer time and work there, because they have 1 year program where they are working part-time, they can work part-time, then they have internship where they can work full-time, and then they have 2 years work permit where they can work in whatever area they want, whichever company they want. So in and all, they get a lot of time to adjust there and find out right opportunities for them. And every step, placement cell guides them in every step. The student has to be in touch with the placement cell and also follow the guidelines.
What kind of internship do they get when they visit there? You rightly said that they get a chance to work for 20 hours a week. But what kind of job will they be getting out there?
See, the first thing, they can get jobs as per their liking, because UK is a very, very big crowd, has big crowd of students coming there for studying. So most of the employers are very flexible in terms of taking students into work with flexible working hours. Now, what our students try to do is to get into a job as soon as possible, because most of the students have that financial limitations where they need to manage their living expenses as well. So they try to find out a job which is mostly, in line with their area of interest. Now, for example, a marketing student will go and try to search a job in terms of where he can get exposure in marketing, or a finance student will try to get into some sort of accounting or finance related job. So there are a lot of companies, lot of superstores which are available where they give students chance to work there. There are a lot of students, who are interested in terms of exploiting their skills and working in a different environment as well. So they get multiple opportunities. There are different set of jobs which are available there. Only thing is that first they need to find out a job and then they can improve on that. So a little bit of time so that they can manage their expenses. Now, in case of a student who is not financially capable, so he will try to find out a job immediately where he can manage his expenses. A student who is financially capable will probably wait for some time and then get into a job when he gets a job of his liking. So again, depends on objective of the students how he gets the job.
Coming back to the other program which ISMS offers, let's understand that part as well. So along with that, you also offer PGP MBA triple certification program. What exactly is that?
It's a basically the core of the program is Pune University MBA. Now, MBA, as you know, all the university programs are 2 years program, full-time program. And Pune University is one of the premier universities in India. Now, this program, being an institute, Pune University affiliated college, we have certain limitation in terms of the syllabus and designing of the program. So what we tried to do was, since we already had the international program with us, which has very flexible modules and different certification options. So what we did was combine Pune University program with this program, and also adding up certain skills, workshops and skills and certification programs, which are absolutely essential now to survive in the market, in this competitive market. So PGP MBA is a complete program, a comprehensive program for a fresher, where he can start his journey as a student and finish as a professional. So it basically addresses three things. One, which is core MBA, wherein he gets a degree, which is basically an entry criteria for any corporates. MBA focuses into development of concepts of management skills. The second part is the international certification, which is again level 7 certification, which we give, which is a completely practical program. So the concepts which he learns in MBA, he can actually learn how to implement those concepts in real environment through the international certification. So that gives him upper hand in terms of competing with any MBA student. The third part is skill development and the additional certifications. Now there are different sectors having different certification programs, which are now looked up by the corporates that the student should be having exposure into these areas. So like SAP, or a student should have knowledge of Excel and advanced Excel in case of finance student. A student getting into trying to get into digital marketing should have some digital marketing certification. HR student should have HR analytics knowledge. Operations student should have knowledge about Six Sigma, the quality process. So there are a lot of certifications which are there. So we try to do it in stepwise, and also add a lot of workshops, corporate exposures plus workshops. Workshops, when you call about workshops, it's actually a workshop conducted by professional trainers, which enhances the overall skills of the students. Like, for example, a student coming into a program, we try to check what type of leadership skills the student has, natural leadership skills. Now, through these workshops, we try to address if there are any concerns or if there are any issues. There is another skill which is very, very important nowadays, which is team building skills. Now, when we work in a team environment, we should know how to manage the team, how to cope up with the team, how should we go along with the team. So there are different levels of training which happens with the students, apart from communication skills, obviously, because communication skill is one of the most important skills which the student should have. So this program has all the areas covered for a fresher to become a professional. And since it gives 3 certification in the process, so it is called triple certification program.
How often does our student of ISMS who goes for an MBA program interact with the industry people?
We have regular industry interactions. We have a very good corporate panel with us, and we have a lot of dignitaries in our corporate panels who keep on suggesting what type of industry guests should we invite to interact with the students. So we call it student mentoring sessions, wherein industry guests come and guide them about different areas, the expectation of corporates from a student when he graduates, what type of skills the student should have when he gets into a corporate. So there are a lot of industry interaction which happens. So it starts right from the induction session, where we start taking them for industry visits, where we try to give them exposure about how companies work, how different departments work, and then taking them into winter internship, where we give them exposure about how companies actually function and how the work environment is, and then the summer internship, which is basically a part of their syllabus. So in between there are a lot of industry interaction which happens. In fact, we do industry sessions every Saturday. So Saturdays is called corporate Saturdays for us, wherein every Saturday we try to invite a corporate guest who can guide and mentor our students. And this happens with at different verticals. Like we have people coming from marketing fields, we have people coming from HR backgrounds, we have people coming from supply chain and operations. Then again, industry wise, like we have people coming from say media background to manufacturing units. So different background people we try to mix. And I'll tell you, we take we generally give in the range of 12 to 15 industry visits for the students which we have. So a lot of exposure for them and good companies. And these are all top level companies where we take them and try to make them understand how actually they function. So before the student passes out, he should have all the knowledge which is required for him to succeed. Because our effort is not only to give them placement, but to help them succeed when they get the placement. The students who opt for placement, because before placement we do have certain activities wherein we try to understand what exactly the student is looking at, which is his area of interest, and this one-to-one happens at various point during his studies. Uh, the first step of placement is winter internship, wherein most of the freshers get a first-hand exposure about how the companies work. So we give them some in winter internship because they can carry that experience into the summer internship, which is very, very important. Because a lot of companies now are coming up with summer internship where they actually want to recruit students based on the performance, how they do in summer internship. It's called pre-placement offer, or PPO, as commonly named. Now we want the students to perform there. So if the student is not exposed to the working environment, he will not be able to perform that much. So winter internship gives them that exposure, and summer internship help them in terms of performing well and getting into companies. So we are right now we are seeing 60 to 70% companies coming with PPO offers. Now, if the student doesn't get chance in PPO, then we start with the normal process wherein there are a lot of companies who want to visit us. There are a lot of companies who want group of students to come to them. So different processes coming together. As far as we are concerned, right now we can vouch that the students who opt for placement. Obviously, there are certain students who don't opt for placement because they want to get into entrepreneurship and all. We every each and every student gets ample opportunity to get placed. And I will say that, if not 100%, but 98% students will get placed in the first attempt, and 100% students will get placed based on the opportunities what they get. Because once the student, if suppose a student is rejected in a company or due to some issues, we try to work on that issues which generally the student is facing. Because our process is like, we should be able to place them that time they complete their program. They should have a job in the hand, because most of the students come for that purpose. But the important part is the knowledge they carry. So it's a build up process wherein knowledge is built up and then they get into placement. Opportunity wise, I can say that our students will not get lesser opportunities. They will get all the opportunities which they require for getting placed, and ISMS will back them in every step till the time they get placement.
How many opportunities does the student team gets in maximum? Because these days, when due to the COVID reason, a lot of people is into fear that they might not end up getting a job after spending some 5, 6, 7 lakhs rupees. So just wanted to understand what is the maximum number of opportunity which one can get if he or she is not getting a placement.
I'll tell you, we don't have any maximum numbers. We'll give him opportunities till the time he gets a job. When they come to ISMS, they should leave the job thing out of their mind, and they should think that ISMS is always there to back them up and to get a job. But the main thing we need is that knowledge acquiring by the students. So students should work more on their knowledge acquiring part, and ISMS will work for getting the companies.
What is the normal teaching hours which a student has in case of ISMS? Because management is a very rigorous education for most of the colleges. What time it begins and how does it progress the whole day?
It's again flexible, but generally we start at 9 o'clock and the classes are till 5 o'clock or sometimes even at 6 o'clock. We do have regular sports activities, which is an important part for our students. We want them to get involved in sports. So we have a sports arena which has been taken by us. We have internal sports facilities here. We have a gymnasium here. The students who also are very fitness freak nowadays, so they can use that gym. We also have gym in our hostel, so students who don't get time now can do in the morning. Apart from that, we have weekend sports, which includes badminton, football, cricket, and a lot of sports enthusiasts come to us, and we have a very good football team as well. So a lot of sports activities happen now, because both the things are important. They should, when they sit in classes with long hours, they should have that sort of relaxation when they go out. So generally, students don't feel tired even if it is an extended hour. We don't want to make it too extended, but generally it happens between 9 to 5 or 9 to 6.
Okay. And followed by multiple assignments which they normally get.
Yes, yes.
So you have one more program at ISMS called MBA SLM. What
Right.
exactly is that? I mean, this is something new I have heard of. And how is this program different from the traditional MBA program, which you say PGP MBA program? How is this program different from that?
It is the syllabus covered in SLM is slightly lesser than PGP MBA program, but higher than MBA program. We have designed this program particularly keeping in mind the budget of the students, wherein we get a lot of students who are financially not that well off, and they probably struggle to get that sort of education loan as well. We have kept the fees on a very lower part, so the students actually can get into this program. This is a dual certification program where a student completes his MBA, they get additional certification of strategic leadership and management. Now, strategic leadership and management is part of our international program. The subjects they study is similar to that of international program. The only thing, they don't get international certification, but the knowledge they acquire is basically about certain domains wherein they learn how to practically implement those management concepts into real life environment. So that's how MBA SLM program moves. We generally suggest MBA SLM program for students who have some work experience or students who have really low budget. So only those students we suggest SLM program.
How is this program moving after COVID, and what do you see? How is this going to work in next 1 or 2 years?
The COVID has no effect on this program or nor on UK Intech, because last year when UK government announced the post-study work permit, which they stopped after 2010, application to UK universities have actually tripled. So COVID actually didn't have any effect, because my students also, last batch students, most of them moved into universities in September itself. So students have two chances of moving to UK universities. First in September, then in January. So a student who is probably having some problem, or maybe that time they may have some family issues or may have some financial problems, can wait till January and move in January also. So they get second chance, third chance. Right now, I don't see any problems in terms of COVID. And UK is the first country who has started vaccination. Again, the things will be very, positive very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.